Good morning, Floss Tube, for the second time. Did my whole video, hit the stop button, and it went poof into the internet, ethernet, whatever you call that. Gonzo, absolutely gone. So, good morning. This is Saturday. It is the 8th of August. This is Chart of the Day video number 71. And I am Julie, and I am frustrated. Technology is still a struggle. The POS system did get back up and running yesterday, so that was fixed. I figured out the label maker's issue was that Dan had unplugged part of it. It plugs into 3 different places, and he had unplugged one while he was watching the shop, which is why it was not functioning. So I got that figured out. But this whole camera recording, I don't know. So anyway, welcome. How are you? I hope you're all fine. Weather here is cloudy, humid. I hope those of you who are without power are going to get it restored soon. You're all in my prayers. Question of the day from yesterday. Was, oh God, it's going to go out of my head. I'm not going to remember what I said, what I haven't said. Question of the day, crush. Who is your fictional crush? Lots of good responses. I agree with pretty much all of them. A few of my favorites that I didn't say, but yet you guys did, were Ori Main from North and South. Pretty much anything Patrick Swayze did was fine with me. Johnny from Dirty Dancing, again, Patrick Swayze. Jamie Fraser was mentioned multiple times. Totally agree with that one. Orlando as Legolas, the elf, was mentioned several times. He's cute that way too, but I still prefer his pirate character, whose name escapes me again. Leopold from Kate and Leopold. He's fine looking too. Cary Grant was mentioned more as a person rather than a fictional character. So, yes, he was hot, but that he's not. Cary Grant himself is not a fictional character. There were a couple people that I didn't recognize, and I haven't had a chance to go and look them up. But I'm sure if you think they were hot, they were. One person mentioned someone else from the Outlander series. Duncan. If I'm remembering correctly, he was the older guy, and he was good looking for an older guy, but personality-wise, he did nothing for me. Let's see. Then Alexis asked a question. See, now it's 10 o'clock and the phone's going to ring. Still recording. I don't know. Okay, so Alexis asked if the 18 count Cyprium that I showed yesterday is available in a 28 count. It is a picture of this plus fabric. Yes, it is available. I do not happen to have it. I don't sell a lot of 28 count linen, so I don't have that wide a choice in it. What else? I think that was it for questions, comments that I wanted to say. Chart of the day for today is about a year old, maybe a little longer. I think it came out at market in 2019, so it'd be a little over a year and a half. It's called Quaker Sewing Tray from With Thy Needle and Thread. Oop, that way. It's a cute little design, not very large. Calls for 32 count Mudstone by Silkweaver. I have never seen that color. I gave up on trying to get Silkweaver eons ago. Excuse me. Stitch count is 89 by 89, which would make it about 5.5 by 5.5 on a 32 count. The chart itself sells for $12, and it has 6 flosses Weeks and Classic Colorworks. I did have to make a couple substitutions. Barn Door I am out of, so I just subbed Calico Kitty because that's a pretty good sub for that. And Oscar I subbed Lily Pad because who can get Oscar right now with the whole Mayflower stitch along coming up. Little segue here. I have all my fabric for the stitch along. I have all the DMC finally. I have my conversion colors that I used are in. I do not have my weeks colors. So I'm hoping they come in before I'm supposed to send this out, but I don't know. When I ordered them, they said they'd do the best they could, but they were swamped. So we shall see. Okay, back to Quaker Sewing Tray. Colors. So these are what the colors look like with the substitutions. And like I said, I wouldn't know mudstone linen if it came up and bit me on the bum. So I just chose a couple of things that I thought looked similar to the picture, one of them being 32 count vintage fawn from Lakeside Linens. I think the colors all look nice there. I got a new color in from Leslie at Under the Sea called Selkie. This is a 36 count linen and it's darker. It kind of reminds me of chocolate milk, but not Stephanie, hand dyed by Stephanie's chocolate milk. Hers is more golden. This reminds me of chocolate milk you would get if you used Nestle Quick. There's no gold in it. I also thought Fresco from Picture This Plus would be a good choice. This is 36 count. So it's got the greens and a little bit of, you can see kind of the pinks hinting out there. So I think that would be pretty. And finally I have, it's also a new color for the shop, not necessarily to her, but Tiramisu from Under the Sea, and this is a 28 count Lugana. It looks entirely different when it's in a linen or an Aida, so you won't get this color with those, but I thought this was really pretty with these colors. I would call it kind of a peachy pink or a pinky peach. But I think it looks really pretty with those colors. So that is your chart of the day for today. Question of the day for today is if you could choose your own name, like before your parents named you, if you could go back and say, hey, Mom, Dad, this is what I want you to call me, what name would you choose? And it could be the name you have. That's fine. You don't have to change it just for the question. I just always wonder, sometimes people don't like the names that their parents give them, and sometimes I totally understand that. I mean, come on, Moon Unit, Zappa, please. Who would do that to their child? I know there was one person that worked as a nurse in the nursery at the hospital, and she said when they asked this gal what she was going to name her child, she said, well, I kind of like what you have on the card. She said, so I think it'll be Famali. It was actually female, but that child was Famali for the rest of her life. So what would your name be? I always had a bar name when I was in the part of my life where I went to bars. Never gave out my real name at a bar. So I always use Raven Alexander as my bar name, and that's probably what I would choose if I were going to choose another name. I like my name just fine. I don't have a problem with it. But if I were going to change it for some reason, I would probably choose Raven Alexander, who was actually a soap opera character from, I think it was As the World Turns, back when I was 18 to 20, somewhere in there, maybe a little younger. I always thought she was the cat's meow, and my older sister's name was Robin, and the gal we used to go to the bars with was named, she would go by the name Wren, so we were Raven, Robin, and Wren when we would go to the bar. So I was just curious, what name would you choose for yourself if you could, if you wanted to? You don't have to. So we are done with the question of the day. Dan is about to pull up. He's gonna, I have multiple light bulbs out here, so he's gotta get me some more light. Plans for this weekend: I have a Zoom tonight. So I'll work on Land That I Love tonight. I will work on Quaker Welcome tomorrow night, because that's my Sunday night project. Last night I worked on, what did I work on last night?
Hi.
Hello, dear. I worked on Aunt Amy's House from La Di La last night, while watching a television show called Absentia on Amazon Prime, which I would recommend. I don't do real well watching stressful shows, and it's a little bit, would you say it's a little tense?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, you just don't know what's going to happen next. It's
It's gonna be bad, but
about an FBI agent who gets abducted, and they find her 6 years later, and she doesn't have a whole lot of memory about what happened to her. So it's a little tense. I highly recommend it, though. So I did that while stitching last night. If I get my 3 pieces stretched today that I have to stretch for cross stitch, then I won't work on Monday. I will take it off. What was that? Well, excuse you.
sorry.
God. Yeah. Did I cover the chart of the day? The question from yesterday? I think I did. Gosh, I don't know now. I've done it twice. I don't know what I've said and what I haven't said. I may have to start over again. Jesus. Jeez. Anyway, I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. I hope you get some stitching done. And Dan and I are going to try and do a video tomorrow. So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. But otherwise, you take care till next time. Bye. Fingers crossed this saves.